So I'm in high school, and I'm in the student council. I'm in the group along with 43 other people, and this large number is attributed to the large number of students in my school. There are 5 people representing each grade, making up 20 of us, and then there are other people who mainly represent clubs, people who carry out staff-approved school activities, and so forth. There are about 760 people in my school. We have several responsibilities, from organizing events, organizing football and basketball games with the student council from the other school, carrying out tasks on behalf of the staff, so on and so forth. One of the most boring parts of our job, however, is the morning announcements. The morning announcements is something that happens every Wednesday morning during the first class of the day period, and it was something that, even though it required all of the student council to be involved, only around 7 of us would actually be doing them. The announcements are done by us recording a video and having the teachers play the announcements at the start of their class. We have our own separate period for doing this business, and each of our routine tasks was basically an assignment that we got a grade for, and the class counted as CTE credit. But now to get into the juice of the story. On this particular Tuesday afternoon we had gone through one hell of a workload. The 43 student council members seems overkill at first, but due to the amount of things we have to do, having a lot of people on board is a lifesaver. We were organizing 3 large games that day, and we were really trying to quickly get the little things done, so that we could just move on to the next agenda. We literally had like 17 different things on our hands. We tried to get the announcements done as quickly as possible, and we got it done in about 5 minutes, and condensed it into a 1 minute and 50-second long video. Since our classes were 70 minutes long, and it was a constant block day of 4 classes, totaling up to 8 classes, we were really trying to get to the biggest items of business as fast as possible. But then our principal throws a curveball. The announcements had to be at least 10 minutes long. We tried to say that was overkill, but he refused to reconsider. I cracked an idea and asked if there was any restrictions as to what we could put in to fill the gap, and once he said there was none, and we got to work. And here is the malicious compliance. We filled the rest of the announcement video with 3 different songs, but we just didn't put in some random songs and called it good. We decided to make our point known to the principal and put in Never Going to Give You Up by Rick Astley, Baby Shark by someone we didn't care who, and Bad Blood by Taylor Swift. The reason behind the 3rd song was because everyone hated Taylor Swift in my school, particularly Bad Blood. With the video completed, we submitted it and took care of the bigger items of business. Now here is the beautiful thing about the staff. When it came to announcement videos, they rarely ever check the videos before emailing them to the teachers to play to the students. And the teachers are required to play the whole thing, so our prank was destined to go off. We were in the halls preparing to meet the other student council members of another school to finalize a football game, and we started to hear the announcements play faintly in the other classrooms, and we hurried our pace. We met the other student council members and we were talking in the library, which was pretty close to several other classes, and you could often hear what other classes were doing if they were loud enough. We just got inside to meet the other people when we started to hear Never Going to Give You Up, and the immediate reaction we heard was priceless. Most notably, we heard someone yell, "God damn it. I got effing rickrolled, Indiana 2019. Why did those little bastards?" And many more people were reacting in a likewise manner. And this is where it went from good to great. After they started yelling and swearing their heads off, the leader of the other student council said, "You too?" I was taken aback, and he told me that many other schools in the district got a similar prank pulled on them when they tried to lengthen the time of the announcement videos, which lead to the prompt removal of said changes. They asked how long we had to lengthen our video, and I said 10 minutes. And he then said, "So I take it there are about 2 or 3 more songs to go?" I said yep, and we went around doing our business as usual. As we went through the extensive pages of paperwork, half of which was already done by the staff, our mood was very much lifted with the reactions we heard with each corresponding song. And since they couldn't put on earbuds or headphones during the announcements, they just got more irritated with each song. The reactions to Baby Shark were all like I can never get it out of my head now, and with the reactions to Bad Blood being basically everyone saying F Taylor Swift. We came to the principal saying, "Can we keep it under 2 minutes now?" He said yes, please do. Some 5 years ago I lived together with a couple. The guy, a friend of mine, had been living there for several years, while I only moved in 2 years ago, and his GF moved in a year ago. Both his GF and I paid rent to him, and he forwarded to the landlord. Due to some heavy storms, part of the building had suffered damages, mainly my room and the kitchen. While the kitchen was being renovated, the landlord cut our rent as it was unusable for almost 2 months. Obviously we all shared in these deductions. After the kitchen was refurnished, they started working in my bedroom, and I had to sleep on the couch, and my housemate said he thought it only proper that all of us would pay less. I didn't agree, as they didn't experience any inconvenience, but didn't argue too much, and eventually shared half my cut. I was annoyed but didn't protest. Not much later I asked for the electricity and water bills, as we wanted to see if we could change providers to save some money, but every time he said he would send it in a few days, or next week, cause he didn't have access to the ATM, which is bullcrap. Everything is sent by mail plus SAVED in your online account. After a while I got suspicious, and became more insistent, even refusing to pay another bill, until I saw it, which is within my legal rights where I live, until, after about 6 months, he sent me a Word document with the amounts, typed by himself, saying this was what I had asked for. I specifically asked for all bills from the past year. Now I was angry. At the same time he and his girlfriend broke up, and while we were looking for a new room and we shared the added expenses of increased rent. But when we found a new housemate I found out that the landlord had pardoned the GF's share, and he let me pay extra while he had no increase in rent whatsoever. I was so sick and tired of it that I wanted to sit down and confront him about everything. But then came the clincher. While we were looking for a housemate he was annoyed with having to rewrite the contract every time, and I advised him that he could take up 2/3 of the contract and sublet a room with permission from the landlord. We discussed it at length and eventually went to the bank to absolve the contract, after which I found out the new contract didn't include me at all. He was now the sole tenant, and I was his subtenant. At this point I was already so pissed, and when we finally had agreed to sit down and talk he stood me up twice without letting me know. I was effing furious. So I thought, hey, you wanna be the sole tenant with all the responsibilities? Have at it. I started looking for a new apartment, found it within a week, and moved out without him knowing. One day later we finally sat down at the third try, and I explained all my grievances, for which he couldn't find an excuse. He said we should put it all behind us and move on with a clean slate. So I looked at him and said, oh no, we are not moving on. I moved out. I'm just here to pick up one more box. I'm done. And I walked out, leaving him behind without a tenant. 3 months of unpaid bills he didn't bother to send me, and a half-painted roll filled with all the garbage I was gonna throw out, and holes from where the shelves hung. It might make me look like a vindictive dick, but I did give him fair warning for several months, and tried to play fair despite his ill-intentioned acts. But I enjoyed it so much. Especially because everything I did was within the legal bounds he chose. He blocked me on Facebook later. My boyfriend and I have been trying to get rid of our couch for a few months. A few friends fell through, Salvation Army refused it, and we live in the middle of the city and can't just put it outside the apartment with a for free sign. We have no alley to just throw it into either. Our apartment management said if it didn't fit in the dumpster, we couldn't put it in there. We've been so fed up with our luck getting rid of the couch, so we took it to our parking spot and sawed it in half on a weekend we knew management wouldn't be around. The dumpsters were just emptied the day prior, so they were empty. The pieces fit, but it completely filled the dumpsters. We closed the dumpsters and went our way. At my college, I live in a dorm with 2 suitemates. Suitemates means you have 2 rooms connected by the bathroom. There's 2 bathroom doors, the door connecting to my room, the door connecting to their room. One thing to know about the bathrooms is that when someone leaves the bathroom door open, you can hear everything in the main room. Imagine singing, shuffling sounds. I have the privilege of having musical theater suitemates as well, and sometimes burping. They developed a bad habit of leaving the door and lights on when they aren't in the bathroom recently, sometimes for hours. I have a history with this kind of roommates, but unfortunately, there isn't a men's bathroom in this building at all. Just the suites we are given. So I have to take a quick double take on the toilet to see if it's free every single time this happens. Whenever I'm in this situation, where they aren't in the bathroom, but the lights are on and their door is open, I close their bathroom door on my way out and turn off the lights. I haven't had a time to talk to them yet. What I didn't mention before is that I have some serious stomach problems that occurs in episodes, not diagnosed, with some very specific trigger foods that can make me unable to eat anything other than rice and chicken for days with on and off diarrhea and nausea. Sometimes, it just triggers itself. Unfortunately for my poor stomach, absolutely nothing caused a major attack. Unfortunately for my suitemates, who accidentally left the door open, I'll let this be a lesson for them. I did not have the strength or will to walk far enough to shield their ears from the sheer hell of my stomach. My stomach was in utter chaos, stabbing pain, nausea, and my puke bag. They heard it all. They heard me rip the wettest farts. Prior to going on the toilet, I crapped myself. They heard me gag and vomit. They heard the atrocities coming out of my intestines and promptly shut the door. Thank you for watching. Slap that like button and comment your opinion on these stories below. I'm waiting. Write that comment. Seriously. Have you written it yet? If you don't comment, you make a bunny cry somewhere. You're not that kind of person. I know. Anyways, peace out and catch you tomorrow.